Welcome back to this week of Get Mossed. This week is kind of a special episode. We are going to have a one-on-one interview with the head coach of First Down Syndrome after putting up only 56 points last week. And we rearranged the structure of the show a little bit. Hope you guys enjoy. But as always, we are going to do our recaps, our projections, and our highlights. So let's get right into it. All right, in the first matchup that we're going to look at, we always do our biggest blowouts. This one was a nearly 90-point win for Daddy's team because First Down Syndrome only put up 59.42 points. Looking at for Daddy's team, he did score 141. Probably would have won anyway. Scattaboo scoring 31. Drake London scoring 31. Rams defense scoring 16. Kicker scoring 10. Looking at the other side, let's just look at position players. 7.5, 3.6, 4.4, 4.3, 4.8. That's just not winning football. That's not winning football at all. Now, before we move on, we did secure a exclusive interview with the head coach of First Down Syndrome. Hope you guys enjoy. We are here with the head coach of First Down Syndrome. Logan, what happened last week? First question, man.
Last week was pitiful.
Passionate.
It was horrible.
Wow.
We never want to see another week like that again. Absolutely ridiculous. Horrible. Horrendous.
Our
pitiful.
next question that we have for you is what's going on with these injuries? How do you plan to recover? Losing two of your starting receivers possibly. You definitely lost one for this week. Next one's up in the air. Most likely going to lose him too. What's your plan?
It's always next man up. Whoever's on the bench got to step up. Jordan Addison needs to have a big week. Xavier Worthy coming in. Gonna have a big week.
It's good to see not just one head coach keeping their team accountable by releasing a kicker after only 2 points, but another one lighting a fire underneath his team, passionate about his loss. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Let's get back to the recaps. So let's go ahead and get into our next biggest blowout of the week. This is nearly a 44-point win for Team McElhaney over Steelers of Joy. Steelers of Joy continues to slide, even with a 32-point performance from Josh Jacobs. Stephon Diggs followed up a excellent performance with a dud of 5.8. Michael Pittman only scored 4. McElhaney again scored 160, so he was probably going to win anyway. Best case scenario for Steelers of Joy. Carried by Devon Achane, 31. Jackson Smith, 30.2. Wan'Dale Robinson, 20.4. Moving into our next matchup here, it was Ricky Stanicki taking down Jalissa. Ricky Stanicki did score 118. Jalissa scored 70. Big weeks from Jonathan Taylor and Rico Dowdle, putting up back-to-back 30-point weeks. Puka Nacua does have an injury scare right now, as you will hear about from head coach of Ricky Stanicki later. Jalissa putting up 70 points, kind of in the same boat as First Down Syndrome. Just didn't get it done this week. And that's enough said for that. Moving into our next matchup, we have Widget taking down Demaryiak Arrest, an upset this week. Demaryiak Arrest on a 3-game skid, and they're losing Josh Allen to bye next week. It could be a tough one next week as well. Widget, his 2 wins have been upsets. His 2 wins have been big upsets. Had only 1 point scored from a starting halfback and still won by 22 points. Big weeks from Brian Thomas Jr. and Lat McConkey both scoring 23. Let's go into our penultimate matchup here. This is the kicker duel on Monday Night Football. Coop Cup Clan versus the Coblins. Came down to Matt Gay versus Matt Prater. Matt Prater only scored 2 points. Matt Gay scored 7 and secured the win for Coop Cup Clan. Before we get into any more numbers, I did receive this exclusive video from the head coach of the Coblins.
some strong thoughts. And I must say, Matt Prater got released on Tuesday. Matt Prater got dropped from the Goblins following his 2-point performance. It's good to see a head coach keeping the guys accountable. Looking at the numbers now, Coop Cup Clan did have a 17.9 week from Tetaroa McMillan, 25 from Jamar, 21 from Trey McBride. Looking at the other side, Drake May, 27.2, and George Pickens with his breakout week, 31.8. Now moving into the comeback of the week, Diggs in a blanket, stealing this one away from the hands of Jennifer Aniston. Big comeback win on Monday Night Football from DeAndre Swift, 25.5. He had Deebo Samuel, who only scored 5.4. He gets one more catch from Deebo, and he walks out at 4-2 instead of 3-3. But it didn't happen. Diggs in a blanket stays alive, stays off the bottom of the leaderboard right now. And hey, who knows? This could be a sign of things to come for Diggs in a blanket. Do we expect Pat Mahomes and Bijan to both go for 30 plus every week? No. But could we see this be the upturn that Diggs in a blanket needs? Possibly. So I hope you guys enjoyed our recaps. Let's go ahead and get right into the projections. All right, let's go ahead and get into our projections. We're going to start off with Widget versus Diggs in a blanket. Keep this one short, sweet, and to the point. Diggs in a blanket gets a win here. I think the pure talent on the other side here is enough to get him a win. Travis Kelce, T. Higgins, A.J. Brown, DeAndre Swift, Bijan Robinson. I think that's enough. Moving on to our next matchup. It's going to be Ricky Stenicki versus Steelers of Joy. Steelers of Joy really looking for a bounce back week here. Ricky Stenicki looking to continue his momentum. We're going to go with Ricky Stenicki. Continuing their momentum up. They do have a questionable Mike Evans and a questionable Chris Olave, but Mike Evans is coming back from that injury. Who knows how he's going to play. But Rico Dowdle looks like a man that can walk on water right now. He can do no wrong in anybody's eyes. Back-to-back 30-point weeks. Yeah, give him the Nobel Peace Prize. Moving into our next matchup, it's going to be Coop Cup Clan versus First Down Syndrome. First Down Syndrome hit hard by the injury bug this week, especially with the loss of possibly Mbuka and the definite loss of Garrett Wilson. Coop Cup Clan here, they're looking to continue a streak. I think we're going to go with Coop Cup Clan to take this win here, especially if the people who First Down Syndrome put in to replace that production can't do it. It could get ugly like last week. Moving into our next matchup here, we have Team McElhaney versus the Goblins. Goblins looking for a bounce back week after that horrendous, just mind just blowing loss because of Matt Prater. 2 points from your kicker when all you needed was a couple more. I mean, devastating. I feel his pain. But I think McElhaney continues his string of dominance. I mean, he is missing James Cook, so we could see something crazy happen. You never know. It is fantasy football. But based on numbers, we are going to go with Team McElhaney this week. Moving into our next matchup, we have Team Jalissa versus Demarniac Arrest. Jalissa is sitting at 2-4. Demarniac Arrest is 3-3, following a 3-game losing streak after starting undefeated the first 3 weeks. Is getting Rasheed Rice back from suspension. They freed 4, I guess. He's missing Josh Allen this week due to a bye week. I think he rights the ship here, gets a win, a much-needed win after 3 losses in a row here. Moving into our closest matchup of the week, projection-wise. We have Jennifer Aniston versus Daddy's team. Jennifer Aniston, gut-wrenching loss last week, lost it on Monday Night Football. Huge game from DeAndre Swift, but that's behind him now. I think he gets a win. Now he does. Looking at the other side, Daddy's team does have the big question mark of Cam Scatabo. Is he going to go for 30 again, or is he going to, go for 10? You never know. He's a very touchdown-reliant guy. He's not going to get a whole lot of yards per carry. But I think looking at both sides here, I think I'm going to go with Jennifer Aniston to
It's not an upset in the line, but it's an upset, I think, for the week. Now we're going to get into a new kind of way we're going to do our quotes this week. And from here on out, if you guys like it, we are going to go with saying them at the end of the show, reading them out at the end of the show, before the highlights. Now, if there is a special video or special interview, that will still be included in the middle of the show, but quotes will be towards the end now. This first one's coming from Coop Cup Clan. Thomas said this: I own the Goblins. It was never really a question on if I was going to win. The question was by how much. Next week against First Down Syndrome, I have my work cut out for me. I've had 3 bye weeks to prepare for them. Some big words there coming from the head coach of Coop Cup Clan. Moving into our next quote, we have here from Matthew, head coach of Ricky Stanicki. He says, I just have to say I'm proud of our resiliency to still dominate despite the setbacks we had this week. Losing Puka is a tough blow, but I feel like the rest of our guys can step up like they did this week until he can come back. I feel that our team can continue the winning streak against Steelers of Joy. And moving into our last quote of the week, we have this from Daddy's team head coach Daniel Hampton. Said, our guys came into it knowing no one gave us a chance to win this game, as we are dealing with injuries and First Down Syndrome is putting together a really solid season. Knowing that allowed our guys to play with a free, what do we have to lose mentality. Looking to build on this momentum and put together a really good week of prep to keep Scattaboo from hitting his head on things until the next game starts. So, that wraps up our recap, projections, and quotes. Let's go ahead and get into our highlights. It is going to be a defense spotlight this week. Enjoy. To start off, we have the New York Jets forcing their first turnover all season on this Bo Nix pass, forces the fumble from Troy Franklin, recovers. Like I said, the first turnover they forced all season. We now go to the Bengals versus the Packers. We have Jordan Love rolling out of the pocket after some pressure, firing on the run, tipped and still picked off by the Bengals. Huge interception for them. They did lose this game though, so it didn't really matter. Next, we are going to go to the Big Apple. We have the New York Giants picking off Jalen Hurts, goes nearly for a touchdown, but a touchdown-saving tackle by Saquon Barkley. Our last play this week, you're probably asking why. It's because it features the best defense in the league, the 12th man for the Kansas City Chiefs. They saw a cool play, noticed it was against Kansas City, huddled for about 90 seconds after the play was already over, and decided, can't give up 7 here, let's take it back.